Okay, just shooting this on the raw iPhone, no mic, no nothing. I just, as I went to set up, Fawn was saying something about borrowing something of electricity, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. She borrowed my really good, actual, authentic Apple cable that I use only to connect my phone to my microphone. She borrowed it because all the charging cables I gave her, she's lost or damaged, whatever. I'm not, who cares? It's me, and it's a dang cable. I'll edit the other word out that I use because I have to be careful or I'll get a YouTube strike. But NB Yoga Fitness, just clean myself up, just kind of letting my hair dry a little bit before I get on my bike. I was gonna go, get like a brunch, but it's already 11, so what the heck? I think I'm gonna double check that they're open, but if they are, I'm gonna go to Daya's and get me some carnitas and a beer. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's Thursday. I should. It's practically the weekend. But what I wanted to talk about was your mileage will vary. And I guess this is a little bit inspired by a comment I got just the other day. One of my videos is not an uncommon subject. It might be peripherally here and there. In fact, there was just a huge video on it, which this guy didn't comment on. He commented way back on another one. I just mentioned the me annoy thing a little bit, and he goes, "Well, there's no such thing, Rob. You shouldn't be telling people that. That's just, you're flat out wrong." And that's an interesting point. I have no doubt that person, believes what they're saying. I can guarantee you to metaphysical certitude they are incorrect, and they're massively incorrect. That comment walked the line between a comment I take down or not, because it is kind of misinformation. I'd hate to say, probably should go back and try and find it and take it down. I'd hate to have a guy look at my channel. I try to help. The channel is supposed to be helpful. That's the intent. And I'd hate to have a guy look at my channel and go, "Oh, no such thing as me and noise." Oh, okay. So if my Thai wife is going out and getting money from people, that can't be that. Can't be that. I'd hate to have a guy get burned because he put some faith in that. But I think most people are smart enough. So the guy believed that. How could someone believe that? And I'm not making fun of anybody. It seemed like a, potentially a pretty bright guy that wrote the comment, and he mentioned he'd lived here a long time, kind of saying that's why he knows for a fact that there aren't me and noise in Thailand. And so that tells me two things. One, as I'm always saying, a lot of the stuff on my channel is kind of secret. It's not generally, these are not things that a lot of the stuff on my channel are things that absolutely the Thais are not going to share with the average foreigner, and they shouldn't. Why should they? Why should they be, "Hey, this is our culture, we do this, we do that, we might be embarrassed about this, but we're going to go and tell everybody"? Why would they do that? So if you're watching my channel, which is pretty common, simple, quiet stuff, then I think it's fair that you might be the kind of guy that's looking to immerse, looking to at least explore in concept the idea of retiring in a village or in a little more rural setting, or at least away from the busiest of tourist settings. Most foreigners come here to the absolute busiest and most touristy on the entire extreme end of the spectrum. That's where literally, by definition, most people go. That's why those places are like that. I don't care for that. I never have. I've always been a backstreet explorer. Back to my point, that guy believed that, and that shows how that isn't common consumption, and two, it's not easy to see. It's just not easy to see that, and so your mileage will vary. Some of these things, depending on your personality and what people land around you and how you engage with them, they may share some of this, they may not. I have my strengths and weaknesses, believe me, and I'm aware of it, and I've got my good sides and my bad sides, and I'm painfully aware of it all at this point, pretty much. So, but one of my real strengths is, for some reason, there's something about my personality. When I engage with people, they tend to really tell me the flat-out truth of things. I tell a story pretty colorfully in my book about that, with a CEO of several big companies. The guy was a real a-hole, just your classic corporate a-hole. In fact, he literally looked almost exactly like the cartoon of the evil boss in the Simpsons cartoon, Smithers, or was that the assistant? But the big evil guy. He looked almost literally like that, and he acted like that. That's what he was. And he got pretty upset one time with his people because they told me way too many things about some of their corporate goings on. He invited me as a prospective junior partner to one of his corporate entities. He invited me to go check it out, and I did. And he was like, did you have truth serum? I mean, he was really disappointed and quite upset at his people. So, but that's just me. I did it all over the phone. I never met the people. I did it over the phone, a couple of phone calls. But there's something about the way I talk with people or engage, or the radar I give off, or whatever, and that's, giving it up in spades here in Thailand. Between that and Fawn. I mean, again, the Fawn is inordinately truthful and transparent about Thai culture. She's a very glass half empty kind of person. She's extremely discerning, very skeptical. For someone to really be a good person in her eyes, they got to be toeing the line pretty well. No, I just want to say that, if you come here, you can't expect like what you see on my channel to apply to you. Like my stuff, and I try to say it every few videos or so. So if somebody new to the channel, they watch a couple of videos, they make sure they get this message. And that message is that I live in the northern rural suburbs of the city of Korat, K-O-R-A-T. I'll put it on the screen. And that is in the Isan region by about, I'm going to say by my best estimation and by what other Thais have told me, I'm about an hour and a half to 2 hours into the Isan region, but I am on the southern end of it. There's a whole great big pile of it, and as you go more north and more east from me, it gets more Isan than where I'm at. I am not in a place where Isan true. I'm in a place they call Thai Isan, but not Isan true. Nobody claims this is Isan true. It's not. That's Khon Kaen and north. I would say Bua Yai in north, in my opinion. Because you go to the markets in Bua Yai and the food's different, man. It's nothing I want to eat. I mean, I'm out. I love Thai food and I eat it all the time. I eat it every day, but I'm not eating the Isan food. You can look that up and make your own decisions. I'm a picky eater. A lot of the Thai food they call, a lot of people refer to it as Asian light. It's not really as Asian as you might think. Like you go to China, I guess I've talked to guys that came back from China, and there's some crazy different food there. Where the Thai food is a lot of it's barbecue based. Well, who doesn't like barbecue? And a quarter of the restaurants have French fries. And Thais like French fries. If I'm having some barbecue pork and some French fries, that's not really true Thai food. I get it, but it's tasty. What else do I want to warn you about? So I'm having a great time out here in the suburbs, but again, I'm kind of a quiet guy. Doing these videos is most of the engagement and socializing I need. The older I get, and the more, it isn't the age, it's the more I've been left alone. I was being really aggravated and poked quite a bit in my life in the States. I had allowed myself to get painted into a corner, or I guess I painted myself into a corner, I should say. And I was getting a lot of traffic that was negative directed at me absolutely every day, within every few hours of every day. And now that that's all gone, it's taken me to 2.5 years almost, I've been here now, to kind of, and just really calm down. And the real Rob is kind of emerging. And the real Rob has a lot fewer other needs to band-aid things because all these things come in my way. They're not coming my way anymore. Now it's all just, it's peace and quiet. Here, listen. Some light traffic out on the highway there. And this gym's quiet. This little courtyard's quiet. There's little bathrooms I use. They're clean up in there. You can see the gym just through there. Shiny floor. And it's just nice and quiet here. I got my motorcycle because Fawn's car's still in the shop. I'm just going to go ride my bike and go have some killer tacos and find the best draft beer I can. And that's going to be my afternoon. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to probably sip a couple beers, bring in some homework I've got, probably do some homework. That place is pretty quiet. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. Very few Thais could afford that, I would think, around here. Very few of anybody, but I don't eat much, I don't do much, so to me I can afford it. I'm just gonna sit there quietly, do some paperwork, enjoy, sip my beer, and just relax. And, again, what I've chosen, I gotta think, probably 7 out of 10 guys, if not more, probably wouldn't care for it. I think most guys are probably happier in Bangkok. A nice area in Pattaya like Jom Tien Beach is very nice. Other than the humidity, I could live there, and the cost a little bit. It would stretch my budget more, And if I get a little pissed off with Fawn sometimes because she's a little fiery at times, and I just flat out, hey, cut it, and she's very good about that. But now I'm already riled, Being 60 and having 24-hour pain, it isn't maybe the best for your being the most pliable individual possible. But even when in those times, she's so helpful. She just thought up a whole bunch of more stuff to help me with the other day. It was really good stuff. It is like having an intelligent and motivated personal assistant, and I'm pretty happy where I'm at. I just a little bored this week because it's been so darn hot. I've had the air on every day, which I normally don't do, but at peak heat season I do. This is like my winter. Hot season in Thailand is back in Michigan, same thing as my winter. I'm inside more, a little quieter, more reading, more movies, and I'm busy too, drawing up the details for the foundation and the concrete designs for the house. Which every time I go through the details, I'm going to want it done a certain way, which means probably me and Kun Pa and a couple of Chang, the workers, not the beer. But now I appreciate everyone following along with me, and this is a really interesting journey. Obviously, one of the more interesting things I've ever done in my life. I'm going to do a video on this, but it's just about now exactly 4 years from idea of, hey, Thailand. Like my first thought about Thailand was 4 years ago, just about today. Isn't that crazy? And here I am. Isn't that nuts? I want to talk about that. I want to go a little more detail on that. No, what else will vary? I mean, obviously your money will vary. For me, it's really cheap here. The baht's been up around 37 to the dollar lately. That's really nice. That gives me more buying power. It's just been so easy. I'll come up with some more salient ideas and I'll get going. I think I'm a little tired. I just had leg day here at the gym, so that's pretty exhausting, and I have to be super, super careful with my back. Do some embarrassingly baby weights, but they're challenging for me because my balance and form has to be absolutely perfect or it's massive pain. And so far I've been getting away with this. If I'm really careful with my leg workouts, I can actually do it and not injure myself, which is amazing. That was not a true statement a year ago. So, small progress. Thanks. Okay. It's a couple of days later. I've been busy. Well, yesterday I was busy navigating on my motorcycle through the back alleys of the center core old city of Kolat, and I got to Dea's Cafe and had a Philly cheesesteak sandwich and a double IPA. So, I mean, but hey, I'm retired. I don't know what to tell you. But but I want to get back to this, how your mileage will vary thing. It's really an important thing. I hope the video turns out well, and I'll put it in some kind of playlist because it's a good message for guys. If you're doing your homework overseas and thinking about coming here and making your plans, and you might look at my channel and kind of gauge how it might be for you, but you got to adjust for a lot of factors because, I'm different than you are, and I'm in a different spot than you might be, and I'm attempting to convey some of that. So we'll I don't know. We'll see how I do. Keep in mind that, I've said this before, I'm going to make up a number and say Thailand is something like 20 different areas or regions or spots or, general areas where they're very different. You have 5, as I understand it, 5 official languages of Thailand. You've got official Thai, you have Thai North, Thai Isan, Thai South, and Thai Kolat. And again, just in the interest of honesty, Thai Kolat is not my favorite. I would rather have been in an area that spoke one of the other. Although Thai South is probably my least favorite, just because it's so fast. It's too fast for my brain. I mean, the Thais here complain about it. Think about that. And all those different places, there's different culture. You've got a different language. You've got really different culture. The people are people, and you're going to find every kind of person in every spot, but you're going to find a preponderance of this or that general sort of culture in each of these areas. And then all the individual little pockets and villages and stuff. And, the other thing, I think, and I've said this before, I think I put this in my book, the immediate 5 or 10 people that are right proximate to your life wherever you go are going to shape your environment here more than what region you settle in. There's people here within Fawn's work. There's like people anywhere. They're super different. All of Fawn's close friends are. Hang on. Get my motorcycle glasses off there. These are a little better. That's just an older prescription, but they got the narrow temples. They slide right into my helmet. You cannot pull a full-face helmet over glasses. So, anyways, all of Fawn's immediate friends are very kind and considerate and polite people. I've chosen to embed and embrace the culture, so there's going to be a fear of losing face there. But not to take anything away from anybody, I truly think they're all very good people. and your friends are a reflection of yourself, right? That's an old thing you were probably taught in school. I remember that one, and that's a true one, I think. The social groups here at work, the people I see at the gyms I go to regularly and such like that. You can see there's some groups of people that they're going to act one way, and then there's at the same spot there's just really different people that might not make a very pleasant retirement for you to be hanging out with. And so these regions and all the stuff are a big factor, but keep in mind, I guess that just underlies the point. It pays to be really picky because you are overseas. You don't have the layers of safety and lifelines and help and support that you're used to back in your home country. You're really on your own. You're was it David Carradine in those kung fu movies? You're kind of wandering town to town on your own, and it's on you. It's all on you. Do you understand what's going on? Are you okay? Are you making yourself happy? Because no one's coming. There's no happiness rescue squad coming to make your retirement awesome. If you go and F it up and drift off course and drift into the wrong kind of people and the wrong kind of activities and you're not safe about it, you might not end up very happy. And that's super common here. It's just in the news constantly. It's kind of amazing, really, because I find it so peaceful, and as most guys do. Thailand really is a very peaceful place. And it's going to matter with your personality how you engage, Like, I like the light engagement opportunities in Thai culture with that heavy veneer of social politeness that's kind of mandatory. If you don't engage beyond that, it's extremely pleasant and no stress at all. And then I only go past that a little bit by choice with my language here and there when I can, because my language is limited because it's a hard language and I'm older already. But I do enjoy a little bit. It really is a fun hobby. I think the last point that I have on your mileage will be it's going to really vary a lot depending on if you engage mostly with other Thais or if you engage mostly with other foreigners. It's going to be more than likely one way or the other. I mean, almost nobody's going to statistically engage exactly 50% with each group. But if you're more of an engage with the locals kind of guy, then I think your experiences might tend to be a little more similar to mine, regardless of where you are. You're going to have some of that momentum, But if you in a mostly tourist area and you're mostly talking with other tourists, foreign retirees and such, then you're just going to have a super different experience. I've noticed, like here, there's a big German subculture, big German population here in Nansung, which is the nearest major city to where I live, and they're pretty tight. They mostly, almost exclusively, honestly, engage with other German foreigners. Now, having said that, one of my best friends here is a Swiss German, but he's not German; he's Swiss German. I mean, he's very friendly to me. In fact, he was actually quite friendly. I bumped into him at a cafe. He asked for my information, and about a month later, he reached out and said, "Hey, man, it was cool chatting with you. You want to get together for dinner with our wives?" I said, "Sure." I mean, now it's become a thing where about every 2 months, we pick a restaurant and we meet there. But no, this Thai versus foreign thing, and so the German guys here tend to, honestly, I'll just say it, to people that are not German, they're not friendly. They either will not speak to you and literally turn their head as you're just attempting to make eye contact or so, hey, good morning or something. And everybody understands good morning or hi or something. And the Thais tend to just like ignore them. It's like two immiscible liquids from your chemistry class. You'll see that their retirement here must be entirely different than mine. Versus a lot of my friends I've met through either the language school with Usani, a couple of people through the channel, and those people have all been interested in Thai language to some degree. They don't all speak, and that's fine. I don't really care if you decide to do it or not. It's up to you. Really, I got a really nice friend here, really nice guy, and I don't think he speaks any Thai, really, and it doesn't matter to me. He's happy, and he's a nice person. You get so many foreign guys that just fall into like these stereotypes. You get the big, super braggy guys, and you overhear them at the bar talk about what a big man they were back and what a big man they still are, and a lot of angry guys. You hear the real short, sharp, and it's in English. I understand what they're saying. Okay, it's not like I don't understand. It's a foreign language or something, And you see that a lot. And the Thais are very wary of that. And we have made ourselves collectively as a group of foreign men here, older foreign men here, we have made a not the best reputation for ourselves in Thailand. The stereotype of a foreign guy is not great. We're desirable because we tend to accept another man's children in a late life marriage or cultural marriage or cohabitation or whatever you want to call it. And we're rich. Generally, most of us can be fairly easily managed. I'm probably more difficult for Fawn because I have engaged with the culture and I require certain things. And I need a lot of care and feeding as it is. But you've all heard about that enough with all my medical stuff and all that. So I'm probably a little more difficult than an average guy. Well, I'll take that back. But then I'm really easy on food. And I don't require her to go with me to, I'm not, though they don't require the ladies to go, but the ladies always volunteer to go when the men go to other, like, foreign Falang bars, and I don't do that. So actually, I take that back. I'm actually probably pretty easy because the average foreigner here has his wife cook a foreign breakfast for him. I hear a lot of complaining that guys demand a lot of sex. There's a lot of guys with a lot of energy, apparently. And then it's pretty common the foreigners like to go to the foreign bars and stuff, and the Thai wives will go with them because otherwise another Thai woman will want to steal the guy or pick up a Mia Noi with him, and all that. And we're back to that Mia Noi thing. It was so interesting that guy made that comment about, and it was like such an intelligently made and articulate comment. It was very well done, but he was just convinced that there was no such thing as a Mia Noi in Thailand. That was so. It's hard for me to. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around someone thinking that because you're practically tripping over them where I'm at. But seriously, it's a relatively common. I'm going to call it a job because it is really it's a job. I was trying to understand it from Fawn. I wasn't able to understand it. I'll do a video on this, but we circled back around the conversation today. I asked some follow-up questions. I wasn't able to understand it, but there's a woman who's a Mia Noi, young, pretty lady. Yeah, I've met her twice, and not my type, but she's more that modern kind of Playboy bunny, sexy, pretty, which I just like the innocent village girl look. That's my thing. I don't know what to tell you. But there's this lady who's a Mia Noi, and then her mom, I think Fawn's saying the mom or the aunt. It might have been the aunt. It was really, I was having I know those are different words, I get that, but I was having a hard time following who's who. My brain isn't good at, like, who's related to whom and that whole thing. I'm not good at that. But there's an older woman who's quite pretty, who's had a lot of cosmetic surgery, I guess, who's quite pretty. I said, I want to see a picture, and Fawn goes, I don't have one. I'm like, dang it. Now it made me curious. But, and she's running some kind of scam with her Thai husband where young men need to flirt with her because need to Jeep. Fawn was saying, Fawn speaks a fair bit of English, so she goes, need to Jeep. Jeep is flirt. But the way she was saying it was like they want to have an intimate relationship with this attractive older woman, and then something happens and they spring some kind of scam on the guys. And I couldn't. Fawn was trying to tell me what it was, and I'm gonna try and circle back that, but I got nothing. But you do have to be careful here. I mean, these are really nice people, but you got to be careful. There you go. Your mileage may vary, and there's a few factors off the top of my head that I see that. So when you're listening to my videos, try to keep that in mind. I'm in this area. I'm engaging this way. You might go to a different spot. And you'll see commenters and experienced commenters saying, hey, and they're doing it very politely, and I like it because it helps the viewers, saying, oh, gee, Rob, my experience is very different, this and that, because they're in a different area, or they're socializing in a very different way. And you have all those choices. And I think the smartest thing a guy can do is do a little research before he picks a spot and evaluate a spot before you settle in and go, okay, this is my spot. Again, I probably did that overly quickly. I think I got blind luck that with how it turned out, my health shook out, which didn't shake out as good as I had expected it to, okay? I ended up so near some very good hospitals. I know there's lots of good hospitals all over Thailand. Thailand's kind of known for its medical care, if you can afford good medical care. But it did sort of work out where I do like the city of Kolat. I do find it interesting, and I think it's cool. And it reminds me of Chicago, which I always liked. When my daughter lived in Chicago, I really loved visiting her. And I like the fact that it's not a tourist city. Why I would, I don't know, but I just do. And there's one particular famous kind of foreign resident dense area, City Link, spelled normal spelling, City Link, 2 words. That's right where Mayfair Park is, by the way, and I go by Mayfair Park, boy, frequently. And but when I drive through there, it's like, well, why wouldn't I live in these condos over here in City Link? It's right by Mayfair. It's right by all these other places I like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but why don't I like that? But I don't. Anyway, so there you go. Make your choices, and hope this helps you. Thank you. I pushed it a bit on shoulder day this morning, but I still feel pretty good. Had 2 massages this week, one heavy, one light, and we'll see. If I'm good tomorrow, then I'm pulling through a little bit more. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's pretty though. Not bad for a Monday, huh? Killer shoulder day too. There you have it. My name is Rob, and thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. I meant every word I just said with respect.